Hi, Chris Sims, Chief Community Architect for First Integrity Mortgage.
And I'm Cindy Ballman, Community Ambassador for First Integrity Mortgage.
Well, Cindy, welcome. We're so excited to have you on the team as we've grown again and super excited knowing that you've had a long career inside of mortgage. So do me a
A little
favor,
bit.
tell me a little bit about it.
Started in banking in 1995, but really got into the mortgage side in 1998 as a conventional underwriter
Yeah.
at Citibank. So I was there for a pretty long time. About 2006, I moved over to State Farm, where they started their whole front side operations.
Yeah, all here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a really good move for me. But while I was at Citibank, I was a processor, I was an underwriter, I was a manager. I ended up going into not loss mitigation. Okay, we're gonna have to pause on that one. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I went into what was that called? I can't remember.
Was it post close or?
It wasn't post close. Repurchase. That was it. Yeah.
Repurchase. Okay.
So while I was at Citibank, I was an underwriter, I was a processor, I
Yeah.
did some managing. I also went into I just forgot it again.
Repurchase.
Oh my gosh, repurchase. So I went into repurchase, and at that point in time, I learned a lot about the back side of the business. So
Yeah.
that really gave me a huge insight as to how all of the funding works for all of these loans.
Yeah.
So that was really important and an integral part of just helping me understand more than just conventional loans.
Well, in that repurchase side, you actually learned, I mean, you had to defend your underwriting credit decision that was made by your team, right?
Correct. Yes.
To
Yeah.
truly get that loan sale.
Absolutely.
Available.
Yeah, absolutely. Or go back to another lender to say, this is why your underwriting was incorrect. So I mean, there was a lot to learn in that.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, the move to State Farm was great. And I had just kind of a hiccup in life, as happens. And I took some time away
Yeah.
to focus on my children.
Yeah.
And just kind of stayed in the business, did quality control for a small mortgage company.
Yep.
And during that time, I found that I wanted to get back into the business. 5 years ago, got my loan officer's license and haven't looked back.
There you go. We're glad you're in that side.
Yeah, thanks.
What do you find most rewarding about being a loan officer?
I love when my clients are so excited about getting into their first home. That is one of the biggest joys in my life. Then, I mean, as interest rates started to go down, getting some people into their next home at a better rate, maybe even a lower payment, and then refinancing maybe that perfect home into a lower payment. All of those little joys have just made this job so much more enjoyable.
Completely agree.
It basically just kind of warms your heart to know that you're helping somebody be a homeowner and to kind of live that American dream.
How do you personalize your service for your customers?
I like to stay on top of everything. So it's something where, I mean, I know I have a processor who is in control, but I like to do that follow-up.
Yep.
Did you see this email? Hey, you're working on whatever documentation that was asked for? Are you have any questions about the process? I like to be there to answer their questions because it isn't just a format. There's no formal, form letter that goes along with doing a mortgage. There's a lot of personal questions that go into it, especially if they're a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Educating them on just making sure that they understand, hey, if you're having a problem down the road, call the lender, work with them, call me. I'll help answer any of your questions. So I like to kind of leave them knowing that I'm not done.
Right.
They can come back to me at any time with any question they might have.
That's great. So Cindy, we met you through Backstoppers, and you've had a lot of involvement. Tell me one of the reasons you love Backstoppers and what it does for the community.
One of my biggest, let's start over. I mean, I have to mention it without
I know.
Yeah. Backstory. I was married to a police officer who was killed in the line of duty in the city of Kirkwood in 2008. And in that time, I have gotten to develop this relationship with the Backstoppers. They're a wonderful organization. They assist multiple families, I think 96 families right now, throughout the entire region. And they offer educational assistance for the kids, health insurance for the families. So they offer so many things that kind of help so that while we're fighting that loss, we're still able to stay in the home that we lived in. The kids still get to, go to sports and do the things that they would have normally done, just in a different way. But they're always there for the families. They're always there for even a catastrophic injury. So, I mean, we've had a few officers recently who are maybe now in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. They still step in and they assist those families. So they do a wonderful job. And I know there's tons of events that, fundraise throughout the year, Guns and Hoses being one of the biggest. And they really just just enveloped the whole community
Yeah.
from Illinois and into Missouri, and they just keep growing. And it's just one of those things where I will always be a huge supporter of them. I will always, attend the events that if they need me to speak, I will definitely go and speak on their behalf because it's my way of giving back for all the generosity that they've given to us.
They truly are a great example of the
Yep.
community giving back to the heroes that sacrifice so much for us.
Yeah. And that's one of my big things too, is I'm like, whenever I get a first responder or a veteran, I am all in. I
Yeah.
want to help them so much.
So Cindy, there's an event coming up in February, right? With Backstoppers?
Yes. The OG Hospitality Group, which is the Shack, the Corner Pub and Grill.
Great guys.
Yes. Awesome, great people. They have basically their February Backstoppers bucks.
Yeah.
So you go in and eat a fabulous meal at any other restaurants, and then you can make a donation. It might be $5, $50, $100, whatever you so choose, and you get to put your name on a little
Yeah.
sign hanging up on their wall. And they always match whatever they make. And I mean, they have been growing this fundraiser every year. They're just a wonderful group of guys. Love them to death. So yeah, go out and support the OG Hospitality
That's right.
Group.
Get out there, hit the corner pub,
Yeah.
folks.
Yep, month of February.
There you go. All right.
And then where do they go to like donate or support? Is there a website?
Should be like backstoppers.org.
If you want to go ahead.
Yeah,
and do
sure.
that real quick.
Okay.
So Cindy, where's the best place for us to, if we want to support the Backstoppers, where can we find out more?
Absolutely. You can go to backstoppers.org. They have several ways you can donate. You just make a one-time donation or become a member. There's also a membership dinner in April, usually every year. So it's always a nice event at the Chase Park Plaza. So yeah, just go to backstoppers.org, and that's a good way to make a donation.
Perfect. If you could do a loan for anybody, just because it would give you a conversation, who would you love it to be?
Oh, I have done the loan for Tony Shalhoub.
Oh, well.
I didn't get to talk to him. I only talked to his representatives, but also Bobby McFerrin, the guy who sang the "Don't Worry, Be Happy" song.
Yeah.
But if I could do one, of course I'd have to say like Ryan Reynolds. I mean, because he's just
Understand
funny.
that.
He's Deadpool.
And not that he
It's
can't pay
just-
cash for it either.
Exactly.
Why
he
would
couldn't
he?
afford
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Just bought a football team. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice I ever received would probably have to say, I hate to say this, came from my father. It would be, don't spend more than you make.
That is actually a really good one, especially in our
Yeah.
world, right?
It's hard to do sometimes, but don't
True.
ever spend more than you make.
That's a great one. Cindy, give us something that you want to leave with your clients, how they can best reach you and get in touch with you.
Absolutely. I mean, the best way to reach me is go directly to my website, which
Okay.
is cindyballman.com. That's Ballman. And, or you can email me at cballman@firstintegrity.com or my phone number, 314-496-0928.
Perfect. Thank you. Tell me your favorite closing. One that just was the epitome of all of your other closings.
Okay. I like to make the closing fun.
Yeah.
One, because you're signing a stack of documents. People walk in and they look and they're
True.
like, do I have to sign every single page? I'm like, well, not every single page. But I usually get to the deed of trust.
Yeah.
Deed of trust can be anywhere from 17 to 20 pages. And I usually say, here's your deed of trust. Let's go over the first page and a half, basically.
Yeah.
Lawyers get paid by the word.
Yeah.
That's why it's 20 pages long. Sign here.
Yeah.
I had a lawyer. And I was sitting there going,
Oh,
oh, I can't do my joke. And she's
Yeah.
like, nope, I want to hear it. I want to hear the joke. And I said, lawyers get paid by the word. And she goes, yep, pretty much. Where do I sign? So that was like one of the funniest moments because I'm like, oh gosh, what do I do?
That's awesome. True story.
Yeah.
I had a closing once where the pastor brought an attorney to the deal, and the attorney was trying to find a reason to validate his fee. And he literally read through every page and wanted me to change a particular piece of the deed of trust. And I can't.
Right.
You know I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he just said, fine, I will sign it, and went on. And yeah. Took a 30-minute closing into 2 hours.
Right.
So-
Right. The only other memorable one, and unfortunately, I mean, we still got it closed, but a gentleman over the weekend went to Cabela's. And
Bass boat?
I was like, what did you do? And he was a Marine, bought a nice little plot of land with a little
Yeah.
pond. And he's like, I bought a pair of pants. And I'm like, okay. So he bought $30 pair of pants
Yep.
to get the 30% off on a $300 credit card. And I'm like, I need all the paperwork. It's got to go to underwriting. They've got to clear it before we can
Yep.
close. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah.
it is true. Do not finance anything until closing.
Amen, sister. Amen. No new debts, right?
No new debt.
No new debts. Well, Cindy, we're excited to have you on the team. We're definitely looking forward to the value that you get to bring to this group with your heartfelt experience, your involvement in the community, and definitely the touches you've already had have been special. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.